Hello everyone, my name is Rafal and welcome to my vlog. So before I jump into my vlog today, I have a couple announcements. The first one, I still have a couple openings for my workshop in London. So if you are in the UK and you would like to join, please feel free to send me a message and I'll be more than happy to provide you more information. And also if you know someone who might be interested, also if you wouldn't mind pass the info, I would be very appreciated. So today's vlog I think will be very interesting. I'm super excited to do this vlog because I've been waiting for this moment for quite a bit. And before I do that, I just want to say huge thank you to the camera store for renting me the new Nikon Z7. I'm so appreciated. These guys are amazing. They contacted me and they pretty much allowed me to take this camera for a few days and play with it and basically test it. So I picked up the camera yesterday and I didn't really have a time to, I would say, play with it, test it kind of on my own. I just went straight to the photo shoot and yeah, we kind of did the creative photo shoot yesterday with the new Nikon Z7 and I have to say I'm very impressed. We're gonna kind of go through all the details, what I like about this camera, what I didn't like about this camera, but I'm simply stunned by this piece of equipment. I also want to say a couple more things that I did a little bit of review before even shooting this camera, and I have said several things which were not completely true, so I want to actually address them today and actually say I was wrong about those things, but we're going to discuss them into the details. So let me kind of jump into this and kind of talk about it, what I really like about this camera and what was my feeling of shooting and using this for my headshots. So also, before I actually start kind of breaking this whole thing down, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that I will be talking mainly about headshots. I'm not talking about landscape photography, and I don't know how this camera performs in different conditions. Headshots are pretty much control environment where I have set up lights and then I can really control what's going on my scene, and then I can basically share my experiences from that kind of environment. So please don't go after me because I've been getting a lot of kind of nasty emails from a lot of photographers accusing me about some stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. But again, I'm talking only about my personal experiences working on headshots. So let's jump into this and let's talk about what I really like about this camera. Okay, so the first thing what I would just want to kind of address is that the camera feels really solid. Even it's way smaller in the size. When I started shooting, I didn't really feel that this camera is like very small and doesn't kind of feels right. The way it's designed has really solid grip, and when I hold this camera I feel really good about it. So I kind of have an expectation that that's going to be a huge issue, and I know there are a lot of people discussing those kind of things, but I didn't have a feeling that this camera doesn't feel right. It's really well designed, and when it comes to grip, when it comes to the viewfinder, everything kind of feels like a professional camera, and the way it handles, the way I had a chance to shoot it, felt really well in my hands. So that's actually huge bonus, and I have to hands down for Nikon designers who actually designed this camera. They did extremely very good job on that. So another thing, and this is what I want to actually talk about a little bit more, is the adapter. And this is something what I actually talked last time, that this is additional accessory, you have to pay for it and all this stuff. But I put some thought into it yesterday because first of all, for whatever reason, I thought that if you attach like big lens to it, this whole thing's gonna be kind of, I don't know, wobbly, and then it's not gonna feel right. But again, the way Nikon designed this whole thing was really good. When I put adapter and put my 70-200 lens, didn't feel any difference. You know, was really well made. The design that, you know, like didn't bug me at all, like, you know, feel like a one piece. Wasn't wobbly, whatever. I know like some people are gonna laugh at this probably, but I don't know, I have this kind of weird expectations, but I was completely wrong about it. And another thing what I want to add to this, and this is something which hit me yesterday, and I want to really point this out because this is kind of really cool, and I thought like this is great idea from Nikon. So when you attached lens to your body, this, you know, kind of attached this ring over here gets really worn down. Like, you know, whenever I shoot, I kind of put my lens in, take them out all the time, and I had in the past some issues. I have to replace this ring because it was just so worn down. With this, you kind of have this additional ring, and it's kind of like protecting your ring from your camera. I know like there's a different mount, but what I'm saying is, you know, like you can put your lenses in and out, and even if you kind of destroy this ring, it's much cheaper to basically replace the ring or use like different ring, whatever, instead, you know, kind of affecting the entire camera. So I think that's a good thing. I never thought about it, but yesterday when I was actually just putting my lens in and out, kind of this whole thought hit me, and I thought that's kind of cool. So and also you can keep this whole thing on your camera all the time. If you're using the different lenses or the lenses with the F mount, you know, you don't really have to take this off. You can keep this all the time on your camera, and I think it works and it looks and feels really good. Okay, so what is the next thing which really impressed me with this camera? So I'm gonna talk about it a lot, and I hope you guys not gonna get bored about it. I'm gonna talk about the EVF. The viewfinder, this electronic viewfinder, is amazing. I had some huge expectation. I've read about it that it's good, but with the headshot, it's unbelievable. I have to say, you know, especially when I shoot with speed lights, and you know, I don't have modeling light, this EVF works like a charm. It's really crisp, it's really sharp. You know, I was really amazed by the performance, and then, you know, how that helped me with my photo shoot. Not to mention, I'm kind of blind a little bit because, you know, my eyes are really wrecked, and I have really strong lenses. So that was additional, I would say, like a bonus for me whenever I was shooting. That, you know, if I was shooting in some kind of environment which is a little bit darker and you have to just kind of focus, kind of different, you have to just kind of put more attention what you're doing. With this camera, this whole thing kind of goes away. And yeah, I was really impressed. Another thing what I really like about this EVF is that you have full control and you see exactly what's going on with your settings, with your adjustments. Everything is in this viewfinder, and you see everything what is going on, what your setup is, and what I mean is like the settings. So that's also really neat. Another thing what I really like about it, you can actually view your photos in your viewfinder. So when you shoot it, you can kind of click and you can kind of see in your viewfinder what the image looks like. And again, I was extremely amazed by the quality, by the, you know, how crisp it is, and I was just like, this is really huge thing, especially for the type of work what I do and the environments I've been working in. This is definitely huge bonus, and definitely helps me as, like, would help me as a photographer to achieve better results. So another thing, there's a couple things which I want to kind of mention too, about additional little kind of thing which Nikon put in this camera, and I don't have it in the Nikon D810 and D800, is this little joystick here, which you can actually control your focus points. And this is, again, I think this is designed really well, not to mention that really speed up your process of focusing on the right spot. When I started kind of using that and then playing with this during the photo shoot, I was just like, wow, this is pretty impressive. Especially, you know, like when the headshots, you want to make sure that your focal point is on the person's eye, and especially when they move and stuff, you can very quickly basically, you know, adjust it and changed it to whatever spot you want, and it seems like it has way more spot than my D800 or the D810, which is another like bonus for me, that I can really aim it to this spot where I want this focus to be on. And this whole thing works extremely well. Not to mention that I found that the focusing system in this camera is very impressive. Like, you know, it's quick, it's sharp, and it's basically gets where you want it to be. And, you know, with little touch of button, this whole thing kind of, you know, gets focused right away. So also I could see throughout the files and images that, you know, this works really well. So another thing what I really like about this camera, and it was really helpful during the shoot, was the touch screen. I really thought that whenever I'm gonna, you know, get closer to the camera and touch with my nose or whatever, this is gonna kind of react, but that's not really happening. And I think that the way they design it is also like very impressive. But the one thing what I really like about this touch screen is that whenever I kind of review the image, I could zoom in and zoom out with, like, you know, my fingers, and just go on the screen and just kind of zoom out and basically look at specific parts of the image, if they're in focus and if the light is correct and all this stuff. And I was really cool. With my D810, you have to, you know, push bunch of buttons. You have to kind of go with this little circle around it to get to the spot where you want to be. With this, it's just such a quick process, and just basically speed up your work. You can just zoom out, you know, push the image all over the screen, and then see it, what you're getting. I'm really impressed, and really amazing. So another thing what I want to talk about, and I also want to apologize to everybody who actually went after me, and I want to talk a little bit about the batteries, because in my last review, basically I have said that the Nikon Z7 cannot basically do more than, I think, those 340 images per one charge, right? And I actually got this information from the Nikon site, so I'm really sorry I have said that. That's what the Nikon says, and I actually just basically repeat what they have said. So the battery, I think, is really good, because I don't know why Nikon even actually come up with those numbers and how they come up with numbers, because yesterday I have shot over 800 images on this camera, and my actually battery level went just 1 bar down, which I was like really impressed. So I deeply believe that on one battery charge you can do tons of images, and I don't know what would be the final count, and then, you know, how this whole thing would basically apply to the battery, but it's not basically true what they have said, and I want to admit that I'm really sorry I have said that, because the battery is really good. And as I said, like, you know, I could keep shooting for I don't know, another 800 images, and I think I should be still fine. Okay, so let's talk about the things which I didn't like, and honestly there's not much what I can actually pick on and say I didn't like. I absolutely love working with this camera. There's a couple of things which I want to mention. I don't think this is a big of a deal, but this is something what I want to actually just mention, which I felt discomfort with this camera. So the first thing was basically when I pick up the camera and I actually click the button to focus on, the EVF takes a little bit of time to kind of get on, and so you can kind of see what is happening. And it's not, again, not huge deal, but I found was a little bit kind of like, you just kind of get this anxiety to kind of see through viewfinder, you know, what's going on, and you have to have that few, I don't know, split of the second that, you know, this EVF kind of gets turned on. And I don't know, maybe this is something which is in the settings, or maybe there is something what I was doing wrong, but that's something which I actually felt that, you know, whenever I picked the camera and start shooting, you know, before the EVF went on, took just kind of a little bit of time, and I felt like, you know, you're just kind of getting anxious and then stuff like that. Again, not big of a deal. The second thing what I found, which was really kind of confusing for me, and I had a little bit of issues, and it has nothing to do with the camera, is more with the software. So in order to basically review and basically work on the raw files, you have to have your Photoshop and your bridge. And I know there are some also issues with the Lightroom to the latest version. I have some older version with my bridge and my Photoshop, and those files simply didn't open. There is some solutions. I had to basically update my my Photoshop. You know, that took a little bit of time, and then there's some other issues. So nothing to do with the camera itself, but I found, like, you know, I had some trouble with this, and you know, spent basically few hours to figure this what's really going on. But other than that, I have nothing to say which would kind of, I don't know, would be something bad about this camera. I'm really impressed. I think the Nikon did amazing job on this, and the question is if this is camera worth it, the money. I deeply believe yes, and you know, if I would have to upgrade my camera, I would definitely go that route. I think, you know, they did amazing job on this. It's really compact, so, you know, it's really well, it's smaller in size and stuff like that, which, you know, would be definitely a benefit whenever I'm traveling and stuff like that. So yes, I highly recommend this. I think this is amazing. I'm really looking forward to, you know, one day own one of those cameras, because, you know, they really good, and they help photographers to, you know, speed up their process, to be more accurate, to, you know, do things which, you know, like sometimes they're difficult throughout a shoot, and I didn't even expect that. I have to say that, you know, there will be much more issues with that. So the last thing what I would like to talk about it is definitely the files, because that's what makes the camera good. And I have to admit, I went through the files. I'm going to show you right now some of the stuff what I got. Those images are not edited. I didn't touch them. They're basically straight from the camera. And I'm extremely impressed. I have to say that this camera just nailed it. The contrast, the sharpness of the images, you know, the white balance works like charm. The skin tones, everything is amazing. I don't have nothing negative to say about those files. And when I was going through them, I was just like really shaking my head how great they are, and how like amazing results you can get using this camera. So hands down for Nikon. Again, big thank you to the camera store for allowing me to use this amazing camera. And I hope that this review was interesting. If you guys would like to add anything to this what I have said, or disagree with anything what I have said, I would like to hear your comments. And yeah, enjoy if you have a chance to work with this camera. I hope that everyone who can afford it and everyone who gets this camera not will be disappointed. I'm pretty sure about it. So again, I would like to wish you guys fantastic shooting. Thank you for watching, and try to kind of like absorb all this information what I would like to share. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So have a fantastic day, and I will chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.